trust in this very foundation has become hollow. Very few believers are found that are absolutely pure from hypocrisy, and they too are sick of the hypocrisy of others. Thus it is incumbent upon every person to see if he is having some hypocrisy. If he has it, he must try to root it out. First of all, he has to purify himself from hypocrisy, then he should take steps to reform others. Worldly harm of hypocrisy. One who intends to profit by lying and deceit should know that falsehood is never successful, and it is exposed sooner or later. As a result, people do not trust him anymore. They do not believe him. Whatever he does has no value. If his falsehood is not exposed, we should know that Allah has given him respite, and he may collect how much ever wealth is possible in this world, but it is not going to benefit him in the long run. He ultimately has to suffer worldly problems, and in the hereafter there is a terrible chastisement for him. He shall be considered an oppressor in the hereafter. He will have to compensate for all the wealth that he has accumulated by oppressing others, and his good deeds will be transferred to those he had oppressed. At last, not a single good deed will remain in his account, and the oppressed people shall have no sin remaining in their accounts. If there is an intention to deceive the people and cheat them, experience tells us that most of the time such actions backfire upon the one who does them, and the cheater is the ultimate loser. The oppressor is punished for his injustice in this life also, and the evil plans shall not beset any save the authors of it. 17. There is a proverb in Arabic: one who digs a hole for others falls into it himself. There are a large number of stories in Arab and non-Arab literatures. We present below an example from the book Mustatraf. Result of jealousy. A poor man came to the court of the Abbasid ruler, Mutasim. Seeing some special qualities in him, the ruler made him his close confidant. He became so close to the king that he had the permission to even enter the harem with prior permission of Mutasim. The vizier was a very jealous person. Seeing the Arab so much respected by the king made him very furious. He told himself, if this Arab remains alive, he will degrade me in the eyes of the ruler, and I shall lose my post. Thus he began to be apparently on friendly terms with the Arab, till one day the vizier invited him to dinner. He had a dish prepared containing a lot of garlic and served it to the Arab. Later the vizier told him, do not go to the caliph with such smelly breath, he does not like the smell of garlic. After this he went to the caliph at once and said, the Arab says that the caliph has a bad breath, so he is having a lot of trouble. The caliph was very angry and summoned the Arab at once. The Arab came immediately, but fearing that the king would smell garlic, he covered his mouth with his hand. The caliph thought that the vizier was right because the Arab was behaving in this way, and he wrote a letter to one of his executioners, saying, behead the bearer of this note at once. Giving the letter to the Arab, he said, go to this person and get the reply of this letter as soon as possible. The Arab took the letter. While he was leaving the palace, the vizier saw him and asked him where he was headed. The Arab replied that he was carrying a letter of the ruler. The vizier thought it must be some letter to receive payments, etc., and he persuaded the Arab to part with the letter in return of 2,000 gold coins, with the condition that he will deliver the letter to the addressee, but whatever gain is accrued from this shall belong to the vizier. The Arab agreed and handed over the letter. The vizier himself took the letter to the executioner and was immediately beheaded. After some days the caliph inquired about the vizier and was informed of his killing. When the Arab was called, he related the matter to the caliph. The caliph said, may Allah kill jealousy that caused the death of the vizier. After this the Arab was appointed at the post of the vizier. Spiritual harm of hypocrisy. Verses and traditions that are recorded with regard to hypocrisy are sufficient to describe the spiritual harm of hypocrisy. When a person reaches the stage of understanding and can discriminate between good and evil, he finds himself on the crossroads. One road is trodden by animals and quadrupeds, and the other by angels. Now it is the test of his intelligence, which way he chooses. If from the beginning man gives in to his carnal desires and disregards the religious law and reason, it means that he has chosen the path of the beasts. He has ignored the Almighty and the hereafter. Now there is no difference between him and animals. The only difference is that animals are restricted to this world only. There is no examination or retribution for them. while man has to taste another life after. This one who submits to carnal desires, the signs of depravity automatically become apparent in him. Greed, miserliness, jealousy, evil, false praise and other vile habits destroy the soul. He becomes involved in worldly difficulties, and in the hereafter he is caught in the claws of chastisement. One day Abu Basir asked Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq a.s. What is the superiority of us your followers over other people? By Allah, we see some of those people in greater comfort and affluence. They are spending life in much better condition than us. Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq a.s. delayed replying to this question till Abu Basir says, they reached the holy city of Mecca. We saw that people were wailing and weeping and begging for divine forgiveness. Imam said, how numerous are the beggars of forgiveness and how few are the pilgrims. By the one who has appointed Muhammad as the prophet and sent his soul to the paradise very soon, but for you and your companions, Allah will not accept the Hajj of anyone. Abu Basir says, Imam Sadiq a.s. moved his hand across my face and I saw that most of the people were actually in the form of pigs, donkeys and monkeys. Very few retained their human shape. The above tradition is found in the section of Imamate in Biharul Anwar. 18. All those you see are not humans. Most of them are tailless cows, bulls and donkeys. 19. Animal qualities. When a man decides to tread the way of beasts, he disregards reason and sharia and hurts others with his actions, words and deeds. Troubling people becomes his prime quality. He becomes involved in pride and arrogance. Ridiculing others becomes his habit. The desire to spread mischief and oppression takes root in him. He becomes addicted to foul language, enmity and revenge. A person possessing animal qualities will behave like animals in the hereafter also. It is mentioned from the Holy Prophet that he said, the inmates of hell shall bark at each other like dogs. And just like stray dogs are chased away, they shall be also chased in the same manner. The Almighty Allah shall show them in this very form. He shall say, go away into it and speak not to me. 20. Men who are Satans. A person who begins to assume the form of Satans, that is, he turns away from the obedience of Allah and his worship. He denies Allah and the hereafter. He makes pride, arrogance, injustice and oppression a part of his life. He indulges in cheating, deceit and makes betraying trust a part of his character. He is considered as a member of the satanic clan. Like the Satans, he thinks of nothing but mischief. So he enters into the army of Satans that resemble human beings. After a time this person is counted as one of the Satans, who are in the form of jinns. The Holy Quran mentions the two groups of these Satans. The Satans from among men and jinn, some of them suggesting to others varnished falsehood to deceive them. 21. And, O assembly of jinn, you took away a great part of mankind. 22. Humans have a higher status than angels. Humans have a higher status than angels, but only when they tread the path of humanity. That is, they subject their carnal desires, anger and other qualities to sharia and reason. They becomes perfect and qualities like chastity, contentment, piety, shame, valor, charity, magnanimity, and forgiveness are nurtured in them. Oppressing the people or cheating them is also a way of the Satan. While the way of man is worship of Allah, obedience, recognition, truthfulness, sincerity, etc. One who walks the path of humanity is imbued with qualities like knowledge, wisdom, patience and thankfulness, submission and satisfaction, love and friendship, support and well-wishing, etc. Till he reaches the pinnacle of perfection and exceeds the angels. Rather, angels are ready to serve him. Once again I will soar higher than the angel. Then I shall be